Hello, everybody. Hello, Facebook people. I'm Nick Harcourt, and I'm here with a couple of the All-American rejects. We've got Chris and Tyson. We've got a ringer over here as well, Jamie, and we're going to tell you a little bit about him later on, but you're going to have to wait. He's sort of like the big surprise package. Hey, guys.
Surprise package.
How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
It's good to see you. We have a lovely studio here, as we just mentioned.
We're in the jungle.
Yeah.
The paper mache jungle.
We got music to talk about, then. We've got a new, well, an album coming, but first of all, a couple of songs that just came out today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We were talking before we came in the room here about how it was there at midnight. Today, everything just shows up automatically on Spotify and everywhere else. It's just immediate now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really kind of, especially since it's been 5 years since we put out music. We were in Florida last night, and right before we went to bed, I told Chris, I was like, it's out.
Yeah, it's no more flipping through
And
records.
he's like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. It's like, good night.
See you in the morning. We'll
Music's
celebrate.
out. It's crazy.
You said it's been 5 years in between records. Any reason? I mean, I think it was 4 years in between records the last time around. So you're not a band that makes a record every year and tours, etc., etc. But
We don't pump them out. We don't
Yeah.
chase the dragon. There's sort of a little bit of, I don't know. I think some bands can do it. I think who is it that doesn't Styx still put out a record every year?
How do you do that?
I don't know. For some reason, I think at least for the writing process that I have whenever I approach a song, it's always because I wanted to sit at the piano, not because I felt like I had to go sit at it because I have to get a record out by next year. Or we have to pause our entire lives just to serve something besides what we love to do. Which,
Yeah.
when you love to do something, you approach it when you want to, not whenever you feel like you have to.
you've been doing other stuff, though, as well, and both of you have been doing other stuff. I mean, the band's been sort of taking time out and doing other projects as well. You've been acting.
Yeah. Yeah, I started developing my craft a little bit in acting, and given that we'd been on the road for 12 years, and every time we did it, we did 24 months of touring. And so that was a recipe for something that demanded a break after that amount of time. So we took 5 years, and in that 5 years, I'd been doing some acting. Chris started a brewery. We're kind of just living life.
Yeah.
Trying to grow up a little bit instead of stay in the time capsule.
Have lives outside of the bus or the studio,
These songs, though, how long have they been gestating? Have they been around a while? These two songs that came out today, Sweat and Close Your Eyes, and we're going to talk about the videos as well in a moment, and that's where Jamie's going to come in. But how long were these songs kicking around before they got recorded?
Well, there's a fun story with Sweat. Our first single is that even what they call it these days? Our first single.
Yeah, I don't know. The world has changed so much.
Music,
we met 5 years ago, and we were talking about how iTunes had revolutionized everything, and since then, it's all changed again, and people just release tracks now, I guess. Right?
Yeah, so we put out some tracks, and the first track, Sweat, I wrote with this guy named Ito, and it was my first time to ever do one of these co-write things, where you walk into a room completely naked, and you sort of are forced to artistically bone each other for a couple hours.
Nice imagery there.
No,
Actually,
I mean,
if you've seen the
it's
video-
that vulnerable. I mean, honestly, I'd rather would have had, tried to get naked with the man and probably touch him a little bit versus just going and be like, hey, bare your soul a bit and make sure it's truth. But we did 2 days of writing, and on the second day we had the verse and the chorus of Sweat. And I remember I just stood up because I just felt so self-conscious about the whole experience. I just got up and I just go, I'm leaving now. And he was just like, what? I was like, yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go. I can't do this anymore. And he was just, I was in a really weird place, and he writes up every day with somebody else. And I was just like, see you, man. And a month later, he emails our publisher the song, and it gets back to me, and I was like, shit, maybe we should finish this tune. He's right. It was a good song. So I finished it.
So what's that like, though? I mean, obviously it's a little disconcerting, but if you've never written with anybody before, I mean,
I've written with Nick, our guitarist, because that was how the band
outside of the band.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there are these guys, like, what was his name? Ito?
Ito.
Yeah.
Great guy.
And that's all they do.
That's what they do.
That's their
And
job. They write songs
Yeah,
with
it's
people.
like here in Nashville. That's kind of what they do.
Right.
And so, for me, there has to be some sort of a connection. And what I liked about Ito was I could tell we were on opposite wavelengths, and in that sort of, I guess, polarity, there was a bit of fun chaos in making the song. And that's kind of how any good song we've ever made, it's always been birthed in some anxiety. So
Right.
it was good. It was good ultimately, but I'll never forget. I was just like, because we'd done a writing moment with Rivers from Weezer for the Ratitude record before, and that was great. That was like, hey, you're writing a song with a legend. And so I, of course, had a song in my back pocket ready to go. I like walked in, I was like, hey, man, what do you think of this?
They bring in your A game.
That's right. No,
Yeah.
I had it in my pocket.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this, I was like, I'm walking in naked.
Right.
And it was really an unnerving situation being an artist going, hey, you have to share a canvas with someone.
Yeah.
You both get to paint.
Uh-huh.
And I hope you like that he uses his elbows to paint
Sure.
and you use your nose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
it
the
was
colors
fun.
all sort of...
Yeah, let's hope he's not using poop brown. Not that I have a problem with that shade.
when you take it from that place to the band, how does that go then? When he comes in with the song and you guys all get together to record?
Well, this process was like a lot different because usually we'd be in a room together for a while hashing a song out. And
I remember you guys used to disappear somewhere for a couple of weeks, right? Rent a cabin
Yeah.
somewhere and just
Yeah.
go somewhere and just
Yeah.
sort of workshop stuff.
Yeah,
this
used
is
to get
different.
weird in the woods.
I mean, I got the track probably a week or two before
Yeah.
we went in, and just went in and started throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah, this
to
was
see what
about
was gonna fit.
spontaneity.
Yeah.
It's kind of what everyone did.
Yeah, well, what in the past we did a whole record with Greg Wells. We did a whole record with Eric Valentine for 9 months, all the tape, and that was a great experience. And it yielded, one of our best songs. But it was really grinding. I went crazy, and so what we wanted to embrace on this was like, okay, let's just get some songs sketched out really well, and let's do each song with a different producer, and let's just see what they're bringing to this sound that we're trying to find. And through that experimentation, we worked with another guy who did Close Your Eyes with us, named Benny Cassette, which is our second track that we're releasing now. And working with him was really great because he's this hip-hop guy, and I was like, dude, just send me one of your tracks. Just send me your music. I just want to hear a couple of them. So he sent me like 15 of these files. And I clicked on the one that became Close Your Eyes, and I just wrote to it right there. And it was a completely different experience for me.
So what kind of track? I mean, when you're going through stuff, is it? I'm presuming some of it's beats.
Oh
some
man,
of
some of
just
it's beats, some of it's like way out.
keyboard,
like,
sort of
totally,
ethereal
yeah,
stuff, and
yeah. Some of it was like not my vibe, but then
That one came together so fast.
That one
too.
just kind
It
of
was just-
landed, and it was like, man, this feels like Rejects. This
Right.
feels like but it also felt like to me some growth.
But it feels a little different. I mean, we're going to talk about the videos in a minute as well, but when you hear the songs back to back, they're kind of different. I mean, they sound like you, but they're pretty different songs.
Yeah, that's what I like about this little offering is that it's the A and Z of where this record's going to be coming from. It's a part of the growth. I think it took someone like Jamie to step in, which we're so grateful to having worked for this guy. I'm gonna release the secret package now.
Yeah, here he is.
This is Jamie Thraves. He directed our short film Sweat for the tracks Sweat and Close Your Eyes. And we were really having trouble, not only sort of communicating with the label that we're with. It was really interesting because it's been 5 years. We're like, hey, we're making more music, and people might walk in expecting, okay, let's get that Gives You Hell music video, boom,
Sure,
bam, let's get some good smiles off those
You're fun and wacky.
boys.
but you've changed.
Yeah.
One would hope, again, we were talking about this before we came in here, that 5 years is a long time in anybody's life, and hopefully we grow a little bit and shift, and
Yeah.
things affect us differently. So when it came about the time to look at how you were going to creatively put this out, the songs are recorded, they're done, they're ready
Yeah.
to go. But the videos have always been a big component of what you guys do. Bringing in Jamie, I looked him up last night, and his resume is unreal. The work
Yeah.
he's done and the people he's worked with.
It's a big
Seriously,
deal.
you're
It's
you're,
Jamie,
you're a
yeah.
big deal, man.
Don't
With,
say a word yet. The whole time you're like,
Yeah, just sit there. You can be the enigma for the for the whole thing. Well, we've got Radiohead, we've got Damien Rice, we've got Death Cab for Cutie, Karim Bailey Ray. I've got a list of them here. Tons of great stuff. A lot of British stuff. The Verve, Blur. Some great work. I mean, it's fantastic, and I would recommend anybody, if you once you're done here and you've listened to
just go
everything
watch
we're
his
doing,
catalog.
go take a look. When you guys met and you're talking about making these videos that ended up being a short film put together, they're very different songs and very different videos. So, what was the connection? How did you guys decide that you wanted to work together?
Well, luckily, Tyson was very smart. He approached Dilly Gent, who's a fantastic commissioner, and I had a relationship with her already because she commissioned the Radiohead video for me way back when. And so she reached out to me and said, I've got this music, and there's 2 songs, and we want you to come up with an idea that kind of connects the 2 songs together.
Right.
And that was a new thing for me. I'd never had that opportunity to do before.
So you have to explain commissioner, because I'm thinking it's like a guy who's running the police force or something. But is it like an agent or
Commissioner of
somebody?
the video. She's the kind of...
Now, I sat with this wonderful woman, Dilly Gent, at a restaurant, and she's been, you know, the visual curator for Radiohead since the inception of the band, helping them usher their thoughts into fruition. And I walked in the meeting going, yeah, right, like this chick's gonna want to work with the All American Rejects.
Right.
And I just laid my heart on the table. I told her, you know, what this new music means to me, and what moving forward as not only the All American Rejects means to us, just moving forward as adults in this business, whether or not this is like, hey, like, do we continue or do we not? And she like validated this music and was like, I love Close Your Eyes, and I know who I want to go after for this. And I was like, wow, you want to work with us? This is amazing. I'll follow you into the desert. And she brought Jamie on board, and that's the commissioner backstory. She's really just someone who really can help communicate the terrible language of an artist to a label. So it's this great liaison of that makes you feel like you're not really, I don't know, giving up any of yourself.
So like a creative
Director.
Yeah. Somebody who sort of,
That's actually what she's called.
yeah. Well,
Right.
so once you guys spoke, take it from there, because the people who are watching right now might not have seen the videos yet, but they will. And they're 2 very different videos, and the first one is something that I don't think anybody's seen before, and it's probably very different from what we would expect from All American Rejects. So tell us how that came about, because you're a dude, but you're downtown LA playing a role. So tell us about it.
transgender hooker.
There you go.
Was the
Yeah.
selling.
Cross-dressing.
He's
hooker.
dressed up in chicks gear.
Yeah, no. It was Jamie. There's this short documentary where Jamie was. You said you hadn't seen what I looked like, or something. You're like,
No,
I hadn't seen what Ty's looked like, so I went and looked him up.
I looked him up and I was going through a few pictures of him online. I was trying to come up with an idea, and there was this one photo of you at, was it some festival or some gala?
Someone covered in glitter.
He was covered in glitter without his top on, and I thought,
I fancy him.
I bet he'll be up for dressing as a woman, and,
Right.
so I thought, he had the cheekbones for it.
Sure.
And the legs.
And the legs. Yeah. I'll
was
leave
the
it at
sort of
that,
tip
otherwise
of
I'm going to get myself in trouble.
That was the tip of the spear for the conversation, and Jamie and I, I thought the best treatments we've ever gotten have been like very short and simple. And Jamie's was, I quite see Tyson looking like a lady.
I remember reading that
that how I
treatment. It
talk?
was against.
That was
Yeah.
that's your voice in my head. And then it just said, and I see it transitioning into him revealing that he's this man named Robert who sort of runs away from his real life and creates a veneer in this other life to help himself feel good and not like a horrible human being, I guess, or just to fulfill some fantasy. And the more we discussed, we started pen paling because I really wanted to make these characters because I really think I think we both felt like the one thing we needed to make sure was that this isn't a music video. This isn't cut to the performance, see everybody playing the drums, and you're taken out of the world that you're trying to create. I felt like that archetype of cut to the performance when you don't have a plot, all that stuff, that archetype is so dead to me. And so working with Jamie, he was into this. I sent him some like references. I was like, man, I just saw, this John Cassavetes film that I love, and I just love how it's not, it's about watching and it's not so much about a narrative per se. And Jamie and I corresponded for like 2 weeks about our life stories and created real characters out of Betsy and Robert. And it was really, I don't know, personally, it was probably one of the most fun, collaborative pen pal adventures I've had in a long time. And it went all the way through the 2-day shoot we had to make this thing. I mean, I can't believe what Jamie pulled off, because the fact that we did it in 2 days for zero money.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It looks, I mean,
Big brother.
It looks amazing. The way it's shot, it's just so beautiful, and obviously very, very stylized in its own way. But you shot it downtown, in downtown LA, where Skid Row is, and it's not a nice place. Tell us about the shoot and what was going on around you.
Yeah, it was pretty raw. I mean, we had there was one point we had, it was very upsetting. Very upsetting. You just right round the corner, you've got very gentrified areas of restaurants, people sitting out eating on the streets. Literally a minute's walk, and it's all tense, and the streets smelling of urine, and it's just so kind of like it's hardcore. And there was a lot of people there that were coming up to us while we were filming who were just shouting and talking to themselves, and it was quite upsetting.
Yeah.
So how do you dodge around that stuff to shoot and get what you want?
I think a few of them made it in, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that first shot, me walking down, looking or coming off that hydrant. You see, like those guys' faces blurred out, and I was like,
Yeah.
we just used them.
Yeah.
Like,
Some of
what's
those.
up, big boy?
Yeah. Some of those blurred out faces are people that we cast, and some of those people were for real. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Take us from that into the second video. They transition in the film, but the video or the story that you're telling in Close Your Eyes is very different. You're in a house, I'm presuming in the Hollywood Hills somewhere. Who knows? Maybe it's in the Valley. Where did you shoot that, and what was the concept behind that one?
Well, like I said initially, the challenge was to try and carry on the story, and it's really weird, but I can't remember how that second story came about at all.
Yeah.
It just kind of came really quickly.
And and even some of it came even in the edit with that moment when the clock strikes. I didn't know that you were planning on doing that.
I didn't know.
I didn't
that.
think you did either. Yeah.
I
No,
found
and that's what I loved
found
about it.
I found that in the edit. I had the idea of it sort of stopping, and that everyone's hired.
Right.
All his friends, his
Yeah.
family, his kid, everyone's hired. And that idea, I'll be honest, that had been influenced by this fantastic Vincent Minnelli film called The Bad and the Beautiful. There's a moment at the beginning with Kirk Douglas, and he's hired all this kind of this gang of people to be mourners at his father's funeral.
Right.
And I was always a huge fan of that film and that beginning, and so that inspired it.
That's a great inspiration as well to take. And it's amazing, obviously, as you sort of work through the process of creating, whether it's creating the song or whether it's creating an image to go with it, how these things can come in, things that you've thought about in the past, things that you've been influenced by, and you create something new. I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at these two pieces that make one piece, I'm sure you're happy and proud of the way it came out. But what would you say to the people who are watching that, the idea behind putting these two pieces together is? What are you trying to put out there?
What's it for you? I know what it is for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was very much about for me, without trying to sound too heavy, I mean, it's very much about the fact that there was this quote I was kept bandying around and to Tyson about. I'm not going to go into the quote because I always get the misquote quotes.
It's
But,
a good one, though.
It's the worst
It's a
thing.
good one to misquote.
Hang on, we can look it up on Facebook. I know.
Where's Kierkegaard? Kierkegaard, it's man is made up of many shadows, all of which resemble him, and all have equal claim to be the man himself. I think that's about right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just always loved that quote, and I thought it really explained the human condition really well. Like we're lots of different people, and when you say, oh, you know, you get drunk or you do something you do something where you regret, or you say something you regret, and you kind of say, oh, I wasn't myself.
Wasn't me.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And it kind of
Yeah.
it is you. Who else is it?
Yeah.
It can't be anybody else, unfortunately.
We're multi-dimensional beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that, and I suppose these two videos was kind of an exploration of that,
Right.
or sort of a physicality of that. I'm trying to sort of
Right.
visualize that idea.
Tyson, obviously, it's your music, the songs you wrote, the songs you guys played and made together. But then coming up with the imagery that a lot of people are going to be introduced to the music through the images.
Of course.
So tell us at the end of the day what that means to you to put this out.
You know, I feel like we've always been a band that's kind of fought their own identity because they've never really had one, I think. I think we kind of, in the early 2000s, you get lost in the wash of labeling and scenes and, you know, I think we never really cared about that. I always say we're the bastards of the emo culture because we were the band that got on the radio or whatever. And I think this, for me, is just about identity. This whole thing is about we are constantly evolving. We've grown up in front of the record button since I was 17, and I'm 33. And to sort of say that we hope that we eventually all one day find ourselves artistically, but I think that this is truly an offering where I feel like maybe for the first time I'm at least aware of what is happening. And not like, oh, I was out of my mind before, but no, I think it's just everything with this has been intentional. And some of the things on our other records, I think we were just so consumed with the music side and getting it out, and after that 9-month process, we just let go of it, and we let it out into the world, and we're like, fuck, let's just get on the road. The visual was kind of always kind of shaken up and lost in certain ways. So this is the first time I feel like, as a band, we're finally finding ourselves. So it's about identity for me personally. I feel like I'm very proud of this collaboration that Jamie helped us with so much, because for me, the video is almost like there's a bit of a correlation between the band's career and this visual thing to me. I don't know why. Sometimes I feel like Robert, I guess. Not in the sense that I want to run away and be Betsy on Skid Row, but just finding yourself as an artist is like the biggest quest as an artist, I think. Because you probably never really do.
We talked about at the end with all these different wigs and stuff. We talked about getting characters from your different videos.
Yeah,
didn't we?
right. Yeah, we tried a couple of those in there, and it was just kind of like a little wink.
I think we're going to take some questions, right? You're going to throw some questions in. But before you throw these at us, one more thing. You are about to take this out on the road, though, aren't you? You're going to be going out on tour.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what's coming up. You're going to be on the road in, what, a week or something?
Yeah, like 6 days. We're going to be
Couple
going
days,
out with Dashboard Confessional.
Yep.
Headlining around the U.S. It's going to be a great tour because, I don't know, we haven't put out music in 5 years, so now instead of opening with Dirty Little Secret and playing the 60-minute set that we've been doing off and on for the past couple years,
Yeah.
we have like a new vibrance about us. We're going to be playing 4 or 5 new songs live. And if you've never seen an All-American Rejects show because maybe you just didn't think to, or you didn't have any money to because you were a starving student and now you're 28 and I think you should. No, because a lot of people. I feel like we've been a band that's been heard more than seen, which I kind of love. Because once you come to a Reject show, you're either converted or you're thrown away, I guess.
You're about to say
It's a live. Yeah, I almost said convulsions. Like, yeah, I don't know why,
So
but it's
you're on the
visually
road.
it's gonna be fun.
Great.
Yeah.
What do we got coming in?
We got Francesca Orlando. She's asking, how does it feel knowing that the fans who were with you at the beginning are still as hyped for your new stuff?
That's a great feeling that they're actually growing up with us, you know, in a sense. I would hate to lose them all. You know, you don't want to disappoint a fan with new material, but you also don't want to just
Live up to an
placate
expectation.
to them, you know, and just do what, you know, the same thing over and over.
But I'm guessing your fans evolve as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Like you were just saying, you know, it's like
Yeah.
people who can afford to come to shows now, for example. But
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's
when-
growing up a little bit.
When I was 17, I was playing for 17-year-old people.
Right.
And that was a really big trip for me because they were still juniors in high school, and I was like, you know, on the road, being like, "Hey, how's it going? You're my age." And then we put out "Move Along," and it was like there'd be people that were 22 there. So yeah, people that have grown up with us are really, I don't know. I think it's really important that they've stuck around, or some of them have, and I hope some more of them do.
So that's another one, guys.
With the 4 or 5 songs you mentioned that you'll be playing live, how is it going to translate overall to your whole show?
I want to create. I don't know. We haven't really sussed it out hard right now, but I want it to feel like this because we play about sunset every day. So as the sun sets, this is you watching the creative process right now. As the sun sets, I want the sort of lights to come on and be this sort of sunrise into the new era of the All American Rejects. So I think it's going to be a lot of old stuff in the front, like a great little nostalgic. We only play for an hour, so we can almost fill an hour with songs that, like it or not, you've heard.
That everybody knows.
Ha!
Yeah.
So I think, you know, as we journey through the set, you're going to journey through time with us, which I think would be kind of cool. So we'll see.
How is making a short film? How is the experience of making a short film different from making videos like "Give You Hell" and "Swing Swing" and your previous videos?
We weren't playing instruments for one, which was nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most goodwill we've ever had on a video. You felt everyone breathing for it. It was really palpable down in Skid Row, especially. We were fighting the sunrise. We had guys that, you know, union guys that are literally giving us grace minutes after, which, if you know this world, that's a big gift. And they were like flagging the sun out, trying to give us those last little bitty shots that ended up ultimately not even making the cut. But everyone, you could feel everyone's energy around it being that of, you know, it was positive and it was inspired as well, because Jamie was rocking and rolling and making the impossible possible. So it was completely different from any other video for me personally. Not a lot of prodding from the powers that be. Fix your hair. Get your hair out of your eyes. God, I remember just back in the day, almost
Mothered.
being, very much. Like, it was so weird. So weird back in the day.
I
When
was
you're
so
a teenager.
tempted to mother you.
I thought you were gonna be like,
Yeah.
Get your hair out your eyes.
Last fan question from Ximena Castro: is this the beginning of a new era of the All American Rejects, or how would you describe this new sound, especially the songs we haven't heard yet?
I think it's. I don't know. You decide. Beginning of a new era. What is this? The opening of Star Wars? It's not that awesome. No, I mean it's a big deal for us. We haven't put out music in half of a decade. For some of you, more than that. For some of you, probably a decade, because 2009 was a long time ago. So, which was "Gives You Hell," which is the last sort of moment we as a band had. So, for some reason, I don't really care about whether it is or it isn't. I'm just glad that it is.
It sounds like you're excited, though, to sort of
Terribly.
get into this new
Yeah,
This-
terribly.
this-
This video we made with Jamie, love it or hate it, this is the greatest damn music video that's been put out in a long time. I just think so because I know so. Like, it's evocative. I'm excited for you to just get through it. It's not me I'm not trying to pump the bellows too much.
Just
But
go,
this is-
just go look at it. 'Cause-
Yeah, just go
yeah.
watch it because it'll be like you'll be laughing and having fun through the first half, and the second half you'll be like, you might touch your head to your forehead at the end, and, just,
I go, what?
and look around the Starbucks that you're sitting at, going, who am I? Bow to the sponsor.
All right. Well, listen. I think you're good for free coffee for a while.
Like not even a day.
It was just a matter of time before you got that in. And we've been hanging out at Facebook HQ in Los Angeles, where you can see there's a kids puppet show coming in here next. And we thank you. Go listen to the music and go look at the videos. Great to see you guys.
Great to
And
see
Jamie,
you.
nice to meet you, man.
You
Thank
too,
you.
man. Thanks for having us.
See ya.
Ta ta.